Today on Rappler, a divided America votes on the heels of surveys that show a tie between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. The European Union supports the peaceful resolution of disputes in the South China Sea.
I guess where we have moved into the media space, we're moving to where we moved to. So I don't know why everybody wants to copy us.
NPLDT Chair Manuel Pangilinan says rivals Globe and ABS-CBN are copycats. Hello, I'm Ai Makaraig, sitting in for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. It's election day in the United States. Latest surveys indicate a statistical tie with either Mitt Romney or Barack Obama favored by a single point. Carmela Fonbuena reports from Ohio.
It's the immovable rock versus the unstoppable force.
When I'm elected president,
President Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney are back in all-important state Ohio on the final day of the campaign, making their closing arguments in one of the closest presidential elections in U.S. history. Obama is ahead in the polls, but the swing states could give the race to Romney, who has a difficult but possible path to the necessary 270 electoral votes to win the elections. Enthusiasm among the Republican voters could be the key. It now comes down to the groundwork.
when you see your neighbors tonight, or whenever you see them next, make sure and ask them, do you want 4 more years like the last 4 years?
Knock on some doors with me and make some phone calls and turn out. We will win Ohio. We'll win this election.
How many of the Obama and Romney supporters will actually go out and vote? This is Carmela Fonbuena, Rappler, Columbus, Ohio.
Now let's check on the voting. Former ABS-CBN reporter Aladin Bacolodon is in Maryland, USA. He joins us on election day. Hi, Aladin.
How are you? Yeah.
Hi, so it's D-Day there now. So tell us, what's the mood there where you're at?
Well, most of the East Coast has already started voting as of 7 o'clock this morning, where polls began to open. It's about 8 o'clock here now. And obviously a lot of people are excited. There's a lot of anxiety as to the number of turnouts because of the recent storm that hit the East Coast most especially, and how the usual voters that participated in the 2008 elections will participate this time, especially the black vote, the Latino vote, which is what they are saying is going to be the game changer here. There's a lot of excitement among political junkies like myself, but for a lot of people, it's still business as normal. Unlike the Philippines, where election day is a holiday, here it's not. I'm actually on my way to work today. That means most corporations, most businesses are open, only public schools are closed. It's not a legal holiday or any national holiday for that matter. People are just expected to be excused from work to be able to vote. So hopefully the turnout will somehow make an impact, and the voice of the United States will be heard in this election. So yeah.
So this is called a cliffhanger election. There's a very tight race. Now, we've seen the results of the polls. Now, what is the sentiment of Filipino Americans in Maryland?
It's actually mixed, depending on what your situation is. If you're one of those Filipinos who are very much affected by this economy, then of course there's a call for a clamor for change. But at the same time, I would think, and based on my conversations with a lot of Filipino leaders and Filipino friends, we tend to vote Democrat. That's because of the pending DREAM Act legislation, a lot of immigration reforms that are going to affect Filipinos are being pushed by mostly the Democratic Party. But again, because of the economic times that we have, where several of our countrymen are being affected, that is to me a big indication and a big a big change of the way we Filipinos think. At the end of the day, what is important to each and every citizen here, regardless of whether you're a Filipino or you're American, is whether you are making ends meet, and those decisions are being made in this election. There are about 2.6 million Filipinos. Most of them are in voting age, and we are certainly a big factor in this election. Among the immigrant population, we are one of the biggest here in the U.S. So this is very critical, and hopefully our vote would matter. Yeah.
So you've mentioned that you've actually already voted. So from where you're sitting, what do you think is at stake from a big picture?
What's at stake, of course, is what everyone is very interested at is the result of the presidency and whether Obama could hold another 4 years. But what people may not know is that there are a lot of other issues that we have to vote for. There are a lot of questions in the state area. For example, here in Maryland, we are deciding whether or not to legalize gay marriage through a referendum, which is part of the ballot that we had to vote for. We call it question 6. Whether are you in favor of the recent decision by the Congress, by the state legislature, to allow gay marriage? Those kinds of questions are part of the vote in each state. It took, there's probably about 14 issues that's being included in the ballot. These are state-specific issues. But again, the big picture is whether Obama can hold the presidency. And right now, everyone is talking about how close the race is. There's also a big issue about whether the electoral votes is going to work this time. We'd had presidencies in the past where the popular vote was not the result of the electoral votes, and those kind of issues are going to be present again, especially in a very tight race election this time. They are predicting that the popular winner may not end up to be the president of the United States. Right. And that is very interesting. So for people that are participating in this democratic process, the key is finding out who eventually will win, and whether that winner is going to win the popular vote and at the same time the electoral votes.
Thank you very much for providing us updates and perspective. Aladin Bacolodon from Maryland, USA. Thank you. European Union leaders tell President Aquino the EU supports a rules-based approach in addressing maritime disputes in the South China Sea. Aquino meets with European Council President Herman Van Rompuy and European Commission President Jose Manuel Barroso on the sidelines of the 9th Asia-Europe meeting in Vientiane, Laos. Van Rompuy says Brussels firmly supports a rules-based and peaceful resolution of disputes in accordance with international law. He also congratulates the Philippines for the signing of the Framework Agreement on the Bangsamoro and pledges more EU assistance on human rights, migration, and the peace process in Mindanao. In his address to Asian and European leaders, Aquino calls for enhanced economic ties between Asia and Europe. TV5 and Philippine long-distance telephone company chairman Manuel V. Pangilinan thinks his rivals may be taking a page out of his playbook. ABS-CBN and Globe Telecom are pursuing a convergence strategy to pair TV content with the infrastructure of a telecommunications firm.
I guess where we have moved into the media space, they're moving to where we moved to. So I don't know why everybody wants to copy us.
At PLDT's last annual stockholders meeting, Pangilinan says the company is moving towards leveraging rich media content. Pangilinan hit an obstacle in his convergence plan this year after acquisition talks with television GMA Network fell through. Pangilinan says he will move forward by strengthening TV5. PLDT and TV5 recently announced they will work together in the coverage of the 2013 elections.